Nigger. The word, the history. On this date, we look at the history of the word nigger in America, a word that still sits at the center of anti-black verbal distortions. Note, some of the content in this writing may be offensive to children. The history of the word nigger is often traced to the Latin word niger, N-I-G-E-R, meaning black. This word became the noun, negro, black person in English, and simply the color black in Spanish and Portuguese. In early northern French, Niger became negre, N-E-G-R-E, and later negress, N-E-G-R-E-S-S, black woman, was unmistakably a part of language history. One can compare to neger, N-E-G-R-E, the derogatory nigger, and earlier English substitutes such as negar, N-E-G-A-R, negar, N-E-E-G-A-R, neger, N-E-G-E-R, and negar, N-I-G-G-O-R, that develops into the lexico-semantic true version in English. It is probable that nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R, is a phonetic spelling of the white southern mispronunciation of Negro. No matter what its origins, by the early 1800s, it was firmly established as a derogative name. In the 21st century, it remains a principal term of white racism, regardless of who is using it. Social scientists agree that words like nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R, kike, K-I-K-E, spic, S-P-I-C, and wetback come from three categories: disparaging nicknames, chink, dago, nigger; explicit group devaluations, Jew him down or niggering the land; and irrelevant ethnic names used as a mild disparagement, Jew bird for cuckoos having prominent beaks, or Irish confetti for bricks thrown in a fight. Over time, racial slurs have victimized all racial and ethnic groups, but no American group has endured as many racial nicknames as blacks: coon, tom, savage, pickaninny, mammy, buck, sambo, jigaboo, and buckwheat are some. Many of these slurs became fully traditional, pseudo-scientific, literary, cinematic, and everyday distortions of African Americans. These caricatures, whether spoken, written, or reproduced in media and material objects, reflect the extent, the vast network of anti-black prejudice. The word nigger, N-I-G-G-E-R, carries with it much of the hatred and disgust directed toward black Africans and African Americans. Historically, nigger defined, limited, made fun of, and ridiculed all blacks. It was a term of exclusion, a verbal reason for discrimination. Whether used as a noun, verb, or adjective, it strengthened the stereotype of the lazy, stupid, dirty, worthless nobody. No other American surname carries as much purposeful cruelty. The following short list is important information on the words used and meaning. Naggers, N-A-G-G-E-R-S, acting in a lazy and irresponsible manner. Nigger lipping, capital N-I-G-G-E-R-L-I-P-P-I-N-G, wetting the end of a cigarette while smoking it. nigger lover, derogatory term aimed at whites lacking in the necessary loathing of blacks. Nigger luck, exceptionally but undeserved good luck. Nigger flicker, a small knife or razor with one side heavily taped to preserve the user's fingers. Nigger heaven, designated places, usually the balcony, where blacks were forced to sit, for example, in an integrated movie, theater, or church. Nigger knocker, axe handle, a weapon made from an axe handle. Nigger rich, deeply in debt but flamboyant. Nigger shooter, a slingshot. Nigger steak, a slice of liver or a cheap piece of meat. Nigger stick, police officer's baton. Nigger tip, leaving a small tip or no tip in a restaurant. Nigger in the woodpile, a concealed motive or unknown factor affecting a situation in an adverse way. Nigger work, demeaning menial task. Nigger, as a word, is also used to describe a dark shade of color. Nigger brown, nigger black. The status of whites that mix together with blacks: nigger breaker, dealer, driver, killer, stealer, worshiper, and looking, and anything belonging to or linked to African Americans: nigger baby, boy, girl, mouth, feet, preacher, job, love, culture, college, music, etc. Nigger is the ultimate American insult. It is used to offend other ethnic groups. Jews are called white niggers, Arabs, sand niggers, Japanese, yellow niggers. Americans create a racial hierarchy with whites at the top and blacks at the bottom. In biology, heredity refers to the transference of biological characteristics from a parent organism to offspring. The word nigger speaks to the human heredity of black people, defining which characteristics of a person are due to heredity and which are due to environmental influences is often controversial discussion. The nature versus nurture debate, especially regarding intelligence and race. The hierarchy was set up by an ideology that justified the use of deceit, exploitation, and intimidation to keep blacks in their place. Every major societal establishment offered legitimacy to the racial hierarchy. Ministers preached that God was white and had condemned blacks to be servants. Scientists measured black skulls, brains, faces, and genitalia, seeking to prove that whites were genetically superior to blacks. White teachers, teaching on white students, taught that blacks were less evolved cognitively, psychologically, and socially. The entertainment media, from vaudeville to television and film, portrayed blacks as docile servants, happy-go-lucky idiots, and dangerous thugs, and they still do this day. The criminal justice system sanctioned a double standard of justice, including its unspoken approval of mob violence against blacks, and there is still a similar double standard today. Both American slavery and the Jim Crow laws which followed were saturated by anti-black laws and images. The negative portrayals of blacks were both reflected in and shaped by everyday material objects: toys, postcards, ashtrays, detergent boxes, fishing lures, and children's books. These items and countless others portrayed blacks with bulging, darting eyes, fire red oversized lips, jet black skin, and either naked or poorly clothed. In 1874, the McLaughlin brothers of New York produced a puzzle game called Chopped Up Niggers. Beginning in 1878, the B. Lighters Dory Company of Milwaukee, Wisconsin produced nigger hair smoking tobacco. Decades later, the name was changed to bigger hair smoking tobacco. In 1916, magazine ad copyrighted by Morris and Bendian showed a black child drinking ink. The caption read, "Nigger milk shown." In 1917, the American Tobacco Company had a nigger hair redemption promotion. Nigger hair coupons were redeemable for cash tobacco, S&H green stamps, or presents. The J. Milhoff Company of England produced a series of cards in the 1930s, which were widely distributed in the United States. One of the cards shows 10 small black dogs with the caption, "10 little nigger boys went out to dine." This is the first line from a popular children's story called The 10 Little Niggers. It reads like this: 10 little nigger boys went out to dine. One choked his little self, and then there were 9. 9 little nigger boys sat up very late. One overslept, and then there were 8. 8 little nigger boys traveling in Devon. One said he stayed there, and then there were 7. 7 little nigger boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves, and then there were 6. 6 little nigger boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one, and then there were 5. 5 little nigger boys going in for law. One got in chancery, and then there were 4. 4 little nigger boys going out to sea. A red heron swallowed one, and then there were 3. 3 little nigger boys walking in the zoo. The big bear hugged one, and then there were 2. 2 little nigger boys sitting in the sun. One guy frizzled up, and then there was 1. 1 little nigger boy living all alone. He got married, and then there were none. In 1939, writer Agatha Christie published a book called 10 Little Niggers. Later editions sometimes changed the name to 10 Little Indians and then there were none. But as late as 1978, copies of the book with the original title were being produced. It was not rare for sheet music produced in the first half of the 20th century to use the word nigger on the cover. The Howland Company of New York produced sheet music for the songs "Hesitate, Mr. Nigger, Hesitate, You're Just a Little Nigger, Still You're Mine, All Mine." This last example was promoted as a children's lullaby. Some small towns use nigger in their names. For example, Nigger Run Fork, Virginia. Nigger was a common name for darkly colored pets, especially dogs, cats, and horses. So-called Jolly Nigger banks, first made in the 1800s, were widely distributed as late as the 1960s. Another common piece with many variations produced on postcards and prints is a picture of a dozen black children rushing for a swimming hole. The caption reads, "Last one in's a nigger." The Civil Rights Movement, Supreme Court decisions, the Black Empowerment Movement, broad civil rights legislation, and a general embracing of democracy by many American citizens have worn down America's racial pecking order from slavery moving into the Jim Crow period and today's institutional racism. Yet, the word nigger has not left, and its relationship with anti-black prejudice remains symbiotic. interrelated and interconnected. Ironically, it is so codependent because a racist society created nigger and continues to feed and sustain it. But the word no longer needs racism or brutal and obvious forms to survive. The word nigger today has its own existence. Another interesting and confusing experience in American speech is the use of nigger by African Americans. Poetry by blacks is instructive. One can often find the word nigger used in black writings. Major and minor poets alike have used it with startling results. Imamu Amara Baraka, the contemporary poet, uses nigger in one of his angriest poems, I Don't Love You. And what was the world to the words of slick nigger fathers too depressed to explain why they could not appear to be men? One wonders how readers are supposed to understand nigger fathers. Baraka's use of this imagery, regardless of his purpose, reinforces the stereotypes of the worthless, pleasure-seeking coon caricature. Ted Joann's use of nigger in The Nice Colored Man is an example of explainable expression. Joannes said he was asked to give a reading in London because he was a nice colored man. Infuriated by the labels nice and colored, Joanne wrote a quintessential rebellious poem. While the poem should be read in its entirety, a few lines will do. Smart black nigger, smart black nigger, smart black nigger, smart black nigger, knife carrying nigger, gun toting nigger, military black nigger, smart black nigger, clock watching nigger, poisoning nigger, disgusting nigger, black ass nigger. This piece uses adjective upon adjective attached to the word nigger. The reality is that many of these uses can be heard in present-day African American society. Herein lies part of the difficulty. The word nigger endures because it is used over and over again, even by the people it insults. Writer Deborah Major said, "It's hard for me to say what someone can or can't say because I work with language all the time and I don't want to be limited." Poet and Professor Opal Palmer Adissa claims that the use of nigger or negar is the same as young people's obsession with swearing. A lot of their use of such language is an internationalization of negativity about themselves. Rappers themselves, poets, rap about niggers before mostly white audiences, some of whom see themselves as wiggers, white niggers, and refer to one another as my nigger. Snoop Doggy, Dog Singer, you thought raps wanna grab a skinny nigger like Snoop Dogg cause you like it tall and work it baby doll. Tupac Shakur, crooked ass nigger, lyrics included. Now I could be a crooked nigger too when I'm rolling with my crew. Also, rap lyrics that degrade women and glamorize violence reinforce the historical brute caricature. Erdman Palmore researched lexicons and said, the number of offensive words used correlates positively with the amount of out-group prejudice, and these express and support negative stereotypes about the most visible racial and cultural differences. When used by blacks, nigger refers to, among other things, all blacks. A nigger can't even get a break. Black men, sister want niggers to work all day long. Blacks who behave in a stereotypical and sometimes legendary manner, he's a lazy, good-for-nothing nigger. Thanks. This piece of dung car is such a nigger. Enemies, I'm sick and tired of those niggers bothering me. And friends, me and my niggers are tight. This foul habit, like a kind word, is particularly challenging. Zup, nigger, has become an almost universal greeting among young urban blacks. When asked, blacks who use nigger or its variants argue that it has to be understood in its situation. Repeated use of the word by blacks will make it less offensive. It's not really the same word because whites are using nigger and niggers, but blacks are saying nigger and negress, N-I-G-G-A-Z. Also, it is just a word, and blacks should not be prisoners of the past or the ugly words that originated in the past. These arguments may not be true to the real world. Brother, brother, and sister, sister, or sister are terms of endearment. Nigger was and still is a word of disrespect. More to the point, the artificial dichotomy between blacks or African Americans, respectable and middle class, and niggers, disrespectable and lower class, ought to be challenged. Black is a nigger regardless of behavior, earnings, goals, clothing, skills, ethnics, or skin color. Finally, if continued use of the word lessen its damage, then nigger would not hurt or cause pain now. Blacks, from slavery until today, have internalized many negative images that white society cultivated and broadcast about black skin and black people. This is mirrored in cycles of self and same-race hatred. The use of the word nigger by blacks reflects this hatred, even when the user is unaware of the psychological forces involved. Nigger is the ultimate expression of white racism and white superiority, no matter how it is pronounced. It is a linguistic corruption, an attack on civility. On a similar scale, words other than nigger also remained accepted public banter in white America. In 1988, on Martin Luther King's birthday, sports commentator Jimmy the Greek Snyder said on national television that black people were better at sports because of slave plantation breeding techniques. During the slave period, the slave owner would breed his black with his big woman so that he would have a big black kid. That's where it all started. Another sports announcer, Billy Packer, referred to the pro basketball player Allen Iverson as a tough monkey. Another announcer, Howard Cosell, referred to Alvin Garrett, a pro football player with the Washington Redskins, as Little Monkey during a Monday night football game. The comments made by Cosell and Packer did not go without any punitive consequences. Nigger is one of the most notorious words in American culture. Some words carry more weight than others, but without trying to exaggerate, is genocide just another word? Pedophilia? Clearly no, and neither is nigger. After a period of relative dormancy, the word nigger has been reborn in popular culture. It is hard-edged streetwise, and it has crossed over into movies like Pulp Fiction, 1994, and Jackie Brown, 1997, where it became a symbol of street authenticity and hipness. Denzel Washington's character in Training Day 2001 uses nigger frequently and harshly. Richard Pryor long ago rejected the use of the word in his comedy act, but Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, and other black male comedy kings use nigger regularly and not affectionately. Justin Driver, a social critic, makes a case that both Rock and Tucker are modern minstrels, shucking, jiving, and grinning in the tradition of step and fetch it. White supremacists have found the internet an indispensable tool for spreading their message of hate. An internet search of nigger using Netscape or Alta Vista locates many anti-black web pages. Niggers Must Die, Hang a Nigger for America, Nigger Joke Central, and many others. Web searchers find what most blacks know from personal experience, that nigger is an expression of anti-black hostility. Without question, nigger is the most commonly used racist slur during hate crimes. No American minority group has been caricatured as often or in as many ways as black people. These misrepresentations feature distorted physical descriptions and negative cultural and behavior stereotypes. The coon caricature, for example, was a tall, skinny, loose-jointed, dark-skinned male, often bald, with oversized, ruby-red lips. His clothing was either ragged and dirty or extremely gaudy. His slow, exaggerated walk suggested laziness. He was a pauper, lacking ambition and the skills necessary for upward social mobility. He was a buffoon. When frightened, the coon's eyes bulged and darted. His speech was slurred, halted, and stuffed with malapropisms. His piercing, high-pitched voice made whites laugh. The coon caricature dehumanized blacks and served to justify social, economic, and political discrimination. Nigger may be viewed as an umbrella term, a way of saying that blacks have the negative characteristics of the coon, buck, tom, mammy, sambo, pickaninny, and other anti-black caricatures. In 2003, the fight to correct the shameful availability of this word had positive results. Recently, Kwesi Mfume, president and CEO of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, NAACP, gave a speech at Virginia Tech. There everyone was informed that a landmark decision was made with the people at Merriam-Webster Dictionary, recognizing their era beginning with the next edition. The word nigger will no longer be synonymous with African Americans in their publication. Nigger, like the false impressions it incorporates and means, puts down black and rationalizes their abuse. The use of the word or its alternative by blacks has not lessened its hurt. This is not surprising in a racial hierarchy 4 centuries old, shaping the historical relationship between white European Americans and African Americans. Anti-black attitudes, motives, values, and behavior continue. Historically, nigger, more than any other word, captures the personal hatred and institutionalized racism directed toward blacks. In 2013, incidences such as Atlanta-born restaurant entrepreneur Paula Dean, Oklahoma football player Riley Cooper's comfortable reference to the word show change is still needed. Ongoing verbal against blacks, such as Bette Midler's 2018 reference to the John Lennon Yoko Ono song, also shows that it is alive in the white vocabulary, and it still does great harm.